You've been pretty good?
Yeah, ever since last time I was here, everything.
Good. All right.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Anything in particular bothering you besides the redness on that right leg?
Bad knees.
That's
I went to the Mayo Clinic and they spent an entire day there. It was kind of interesting being at that. Have you ever, well, I'm sure you have.
the one in Rochester?
Yeah.
I actually have never been there.
They had, they had, it's like 7 appointments scheduled for me.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like on the hour from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, then another one at 1, 2, 3, and almost 4. And
For your knees?
yeah, they did x-rays, they did CT scans, MRIs, they did fluid, they drew fluid, they, so they did almost all aspects, and they basically said that I could not do another replacement because the issue I have is the tendons are, that connect the knee joint are kind of shredding.
Hmm.
And so that's what hurts, is the tendons are kind of not as good as they used to be.
And did they had no
They
treatment for?
They said take some, couple leave twice a day. I go like, geez, I can't even go up a couple steps. So I want to talk to my primary.
So this isn't something that they offered you that physical therapy can make it better, or they can do tendon grafts or something like that?
No, they didn't give me any. Now, it could be just the individual doctor I had, because I was kind of, they gave me the statistic at the Mayo, they have almost 40,000 nurses and doctors. That's an awful lot of people. So I don't know if I got the best one or not, but.
Could you imagine living in that town? I mean, what does that town have? A couple 100,000 people in it, maybe?
Yeah, and they're all in the same.
And they're all employed at Mayo, or the restaurant next to Mayo?
Yeah, that's the one thing I did like. They had at least they have a few really nice restaurants close by.
Mm-hmm. And hotels.
Yeah, I stayed at the hotel across the street, so that was very convenient. It's a nice, called the Callus.
Okay.
If you ever get a chance to Google the Plumber Building in Rochester,
Okay.
it was built like in 1927.
Is it haunted?
Well, it's got gargoyles on it, but very elaborate. It was one of the first Mayo buildings, and it was pretty impressive, the building itself.
Yeah, but is it haunted?
Could be.
They don't advertise that though, do they?
I wouldn't know if I would spend a night there. It's like going to my office building late at night, at midnight, and you're the only one in the building, and all the lights are off pretty much, and it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it can be.
Actually, one day one time I was in there, I found a body. And when I came in about 11 o'clock at night, there was somebody laying on the floor in the hallway.
Oh my gosh,
And
that would freak you out.
yeah, that kind of.
What was the story?
Turned out to be, I don't know how, maybe when the doors got caught or something. He was a homeless person, and he was in there sleeping, but you don't know. I mean, it could have.
Oh, he wasn't dead?
He wasn't dead, but
Oh.
he was sleeping away in the hallway, right, going on the way to my office.
Oh.
So I was tripped over him, because the lights were almost all
When
off.
you said I found a body, I thought you meant
Yeah.
like there was a murder victim there or something.
Well, when I first saw him, I thought it could have been. I don't know.
That would be very scary. You're right.
11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
The building's dark.
So you went through all the testing and really came out with nothing?
Came out
We have
with,
nothing to offer you?
that's pretty much, I was a little disappointed in the outcome. But they got so many doctors, I don't know if I had the right one or not. I mean, when I selected this doctor, I mean, it was kind of, nobody really recommended him. It was just something that I picked out
Okay.
online. Excuse me. He was a very snappy dresser, I can tell you that. He always had a immaculate custom suit on, very dapper looking.
Yeah, I guess it pays to be a doctor at the Mayo Clinic.
If nothing else, I should ask him who his tailor was.
Probably someone in New York City. I guess there was recently a PBS documentary about Mayo Clinic and the Mayo brothers who started it. And it was supposed to be a really good documentary.
I mean, every appointment that I was scheduled for, they were pretty much right on time. And,
Yeah, I mean,
but I would definitely, I don't know if my outcome was what I was looking for, or maybe that's all they want to do to me at this point. I think part of it is that, they don't want to mess around with something if this is going to make it worse later. But I'll get but my left shoulder that I had replaced last in February is allowing me to sleep on it every night.
was that done at Mayo also?
No, that was done on Summit Orthopedic. And, but I was a little concerned with getting a staph infection or something like that, but so far nothing, no consequences. And it works. And
You don't have pain?
for 3 years I couldn't sleep on that shoulder, and now I can sleep on it every night.
Great. It's nice to hear good stories.
This is not this is a total replacement of the joint.
Right. Well, I am now doing total replacements of the big toe joint.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do people do? What happens there?
Well, if they have a lot of arthritis here,
Oh.
and it's very painful to move, we now have a good implant that we can do there. They've had implants around for a long time, but they weren't very good. And now there's one that's really good, so I didn't do them for 30 years, and now I'm doing them.
Good for you.
So, okay, so I'm gonna just kind of smooth everything down.
Yeah, that one toe looks a little rough.
Oh, they all look rough. So last time you were here, you had this great story, I don't even know how we got talking about it, but you had been on the dating game in the 60s or 70s?
Well, about 25 years ago, almost, unfortunately, I happened to stumble in my house one night, about the middle of the night, and when I stumbled, I ended up hitting my head on the granite countertop and cut myself open nicely. And so I disinfected it, put an ice pack on it, and laid down for an hour. And then got up, and there was quite a bit of blood, so I thought I better address this issue right away. So I drove to the emergency at West Health, and I go in there, and the doctor comes in to see me and examine me and give me, figured I needed some stitches. And while looking at me, he says, "I know you." He says, "You know me?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Were you on TV about 25 years ago?" And I said, "Yeah, I could have been." He says, "I was in school, high school, and my sister and I selected you to meet our mother on the dating game."
Oh,
And
funny.
so on TV, you were introduced to my mother, and you had stolen flowers out of the front lobby because you figured that she needed flowers. You didn't bring any with you, so you stole them out of the front lobby. And he says, "I always remembered you." And that was 25 years ago, and he still remembered who I was.
That is a very funny story.
Well, I mean, how did that happen?
So you were one of the bachelors,
I was one of the bachelors. They had three.
and were the kids asking the questions, or?
The kids had to select between three men that they would like to have meet their mother.
Okay,
And they rejected the other two and selected me.
oh, very funny. And do you remember the date?
Yes. The dating game and the good company picked up the event and the limousine, and unfortunately, it didn't work out, but it was still fun.
Okay, well, hey, that's an awesome story.
Yeah,
for
it's
retelling
really,
it.
yeah, I mean,
And, okay, so we'll see you back in a couple of months.
sounds good to me.
Thank
you
you for
very
letting
much.
us video.